Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all having a great time in lockdown. And yeah, welcome back to the seventh sin in our seven deadly sin series. And today we're going to be talking about pride. Now, the reason this is the last sin in our seven deadly sin series is because this is arguably the worst sin of them all. Now, before you kill me, hear me out. We're not talking about, a parent being proud of their kid saying, "Oh, well done, I'm so proud of you," or saying, "I'm super proud to be South African or American or whatever you are." We're not talking about that. What we're really talking about here is arrogance. Now, what I mean by arrogance is I'm talking about when you trust yourself like a lot and you see yourself as being higher than other people. That's what I'm talking about. When we refer to arrogance here, it's people looking down on others because you feel like you're superior. And that's what we're going to be discussing here. So, why is arrogance, or in this case, pride, such a bad thing? Well, it kind of goes against one of the key themes that Jesus taught us. And that key theme is humility and being humble. Jesus himself lived a very humble life. So, in contrast with what's going on here, pride is pretty much the opposite of being humble. So, if you aren't convinced yet by that, I have two things to add. Just two things, and I'm going to leave it there. Number one of the core things that we are taught as Christians from a young age is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. It sounds simple enough, but when we think about it, what pride does is pride ends up prioritizing our own well-being and seeing ourselves as more valuable than other people. And that kind of goes against the whole thing of loving your neighbor as you love yourself, isn't it? Because now you're seeing yourself as being superior. And what happens when you start thinking like this is we start separating ourselves from others and we start separating ourselves from God, essentially. Now, the second part of what I want to say is basically in relation to the first commandment. The first commandment says, "You shall love the Lord your God." And in other words, in the book of Matthew, as Matthew records what Jesus tells him, is you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And how this goes against the first commandments, or how pride goes against the first commandment rather, is when we start valuing ourselves so much, when we start believing in our own righteousness, we start trusting ourselves to the point where we see ourselves as being above other people. What we're basically doing is we're separating ourselves from God in that we are basically telling him, "Thanks God, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like I know better, so I'm just going to do things my way." And that's the problem. That's the problem with pride. Not only are you separating yourselves from other people, but you are going against the first commandment, which is to love your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your soul. Instead of doing that for him, you're just doing it for yourself. You're prioritizing yourself over God. And it is that key point that tells us that pride is the worst sin of them all. So again, I'm not trying to, call anyone out, make anyone feel bad or anything, but what I am trying to do is to make you take a step back and just make sure you understand what it means to be too prideful, or in our term, arrogant, and how you really need to address this in your life, because there's no way you can move forward if you are arrogant. So with that being said, that's my lesson. I wanted to keep it nice and short because I know my first one was way too long. To everyone out there, have a great day and, stay safe while the world descends into madness. Love you, fam.